Hello, welcome to Nebi Invests. Today I'm very excited because I'll be discussing a company that I like a lot. It's actually been a market darling over the past month or so with share price action, share price just going through the roof really. And I think the market is finally seeing the potential of this company. And even though there's very little revenue, very little cash coming in, I think that's going to turn around over the next 2 years or so. But when I look at their financials, I look at the share price action, one of the things that does come to my mind is the possibility of a capital raising. So today I'm going to talk about that company is Brainchip and just raising the possibility of a capital raising today. So as I mentioned, I'm a very big fan of Brainchip and what they do and where they may end up. So some of the things they're doing is very exciting. I think they're the only pure AI play on the ASX. But as I mentioned, when you look at their financials and their recent share price action, the possibility of a capital raise has to be raised. And I'll go through why that is so, and also go through why a capital raising may not happen. And it's all because of what happened about a month ago with an announcement of a financial deal with this company. So financials, I'm just looking at the cash flow statement from the half year. So their half year finished on the 30th of June. You can see very little cash coming in, only $12,000. But as I said, this is not a story of what's happening the past year. It's what's going to be happening in the next few years. So net cash flow from operating activities was minus 5.1 million, and they only had $5.3 million of cash in the books. So just looking at that, they've only got cash run rate or cash, only had cash on hand for the next 6 months before they'll need a capital injection into their coffers. So this is one reason why a capital raising is a possibility if this is the only thing you're looking at and didn't know other information. And the other reason why they might be going to a capital raising is what's been happening with the share price. So the share price has run hard from the August the 13th, 17 cents to a close of trade on Friday, September 11, 64.5 cents. It's been as high as about in the 90s. But what's been happening with the share price action is ideal capital raising conditions or thematics. You see this a lot with capital raisings when a share price of a company like Brainchip, a small company that hasn't got cash coming in the door yet, or even something like Tesla, they'll do capital raisings because the share price has run up and they're trying to seek maximum value for the shareholders. And this is a possibility with Brainchip. The share price has run up, so I would not be surprised to see they go into a trading halt the next few days because of a capital raising possibility. So capital raisings, a lot of people think of it as a negative, but there are some positives to it. So it allows a company to grow. The main thing there, I've got capital allows a company to innovate. So when you have a lot of money in your balance sheet, a lot of cash, you can employ new people to come in and innovate for you. So it just allows the company to innovate, and innovation is the most important thing when it comes to long-term growth. It also allows a company to acquire other companies, so there's a bit more flexibility with what they can do. And if they do see an opportunity there to acquire another company that can give them synergies and can allow them to grow at an even faster rate in the future, there's that opportunity too. I don't know what management's thinking. Capital also provides confidence. So it provides, if you put a lot of money into the balance sheet with a capital raising, it just provides confidence that this company can continue moving forward, can continue to grow. So there are capital raising positives. I'm not the biggest fan of capital raisings usually because I think it's a poor allocator. It's a poor allocator anyway. But I think in this case, there is some positives at play just because the share price has run so hard. So what's a capital raising might look like for Brainchip? For example, they've got 1.5 billion shares on issue, 200 million options or so. So they could issue 200 million shares at 50 cents, and that will raise $100 million or so, minus some fees. So that would add a lot to the balance sheet. So At the moment, only $5 million in cash. But if you make that $105 million in cash, it adds a lot more flexibility, and I would be actually a fan of that sort of capital raising. But maybe not. So on August 13, I did use August 13 as a sort of a base in when I looked at the share price run up, because there was an announcement on that day about a financing facility with LDA Capital, which will provide Brainchip with a fair bit of cash going forward. So it was actually a put option agreement for as much as $29 million in cash. And this will support commercialization of the company's technology. And I think the CEO just mentioned that next year we should see quite a bit of monetization of what they do, and should start seeing cash coming into the door. And this is sort of a buffer up until then. So this is just a few snippets from the agreement. They've already agreed to draw down $10 million in the first 12 months, and it's a maximum of $29 million. So at least $29 million. I won't tell you how the how it's so essentially what it is to get that $29 million, they'll issue shares to LDA Capital, and the price of the issuing of shares of LDA Capital is quite complex. You can go through this announcement and see what those sort of conditions are. But the other thing is they also have issued some unlisted options or listed options to unlisted options to LDA Capital. Overall, $75 million. They're already in the money, so at 15 cents and 20 cents. So that's an additional $13 million or so. So overall, about $42 million they might receive with this. So management might think this is enough money they need to move forward, but even if they do a capital raising, say $100 million, that's $142 million they've got to really grow, expand, innovate, that sort of thing. So I think this announcement means a capital raising is probably less likely, but it's not out of the question. And this is the reason why. So I have no doubt investment bankers in the ear of Brainchip executives saying a capital raising right now would be a great idea. You've seen a share price run up. This is the ideal position to do a capital raising to bring more cash in the door. And I have no doubt that's what's happening with management. But management actually, as I said, my belief that the finance agreement with LDA is enough to move forward. And it probably is enough. That's a lot of money, but they are burning cash at $5 million per half. But that should be decreasing during the next 12 to 24 months anyway. So that the allure of the significant capital injection into the company might be enticing to management. I'm not sure what management are thinking now, but I think that allure of that capital would be enticing just because what they can do with, say, 142 million instead of $42 million, there's a fair bit of difference there. And possibly this is the last possible capital raising. And if you think about it, the whole reason you list on the market is because of you can actually inject capital into your business much easier than, say, in private equity. So overall, this is exciting times for Brainchip shareholders. I think very happy Brainchip shareholders at the moment. And just the possibility of a capital raising, don't look at it as a bad thing. If they do announce a capital raising, look at it as a good thing moving forward. The injection of capital will really bring significant growth to Brainchip. And even if they don't do a capital raising, I still think the future looks very bright for Brainchip. So I haven't done a video on Brainchip yet, but I am thinking of doing a video either this week or next week because they're in an area that I'm excited about, and I believe that a lot of, especially Australians, don't realise how much their lives are going to change because of companies like Brainchip and Kin. So I'm very excited with Brainchip and where they're heading, what they're doing, and all that thing. So I think that's a natural follow-up video for the next week or two. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Look, I'm not a financial advisor, so there's nothing out of this. I think this video you can take as financial advice, but I just don't want people to get upset or anything, Brainchip holders, to get upset if there is a capital raising because there are some positives about it, and there's no definitive. There's no definitive. It's not definitive. They will do a capital raising, so it's something I'll be looking for the next week or two, especially if the share price stays up. And exciting times for Brainchip holders. So that's all for today. I hope you've learned a little bit. And if you do have any questions, just leave it in the comment. Maybe subscribe too, because well, I like subscriptions, I suppose. So subscribe, and yeah, make sure you leave comments. I'll reply to any comments you do leave because I don't have a life, and I love doing this channel at the moment. This is something I really like doing, and hope you get out of something like this. So see ya.